Christmas. I'm back.
Welcome, day 25. We are back with Jake. This has been a long time coming. I'm sure you're all waited for this, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to do a lot of the talking in this one, aren't I? Because both of you are fucking sick.
I can talk. I just sound like a. Yep.
Yes.
I can talk, but no, I can't, as you can hear.
Yeah. Anyway, but
I'm here.
But yes, this is the finale of the Advent calendar, and obviously the one you've all been waiting for, which is awesome. But before we sort of dig into all that, I need to ask you, Jake, where have you been?
I've been, working and living. Just been busy with life and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the Game of Thrones review that we did, which, by the way, some of you may not know about, he was on that. It was in the middle of the year. You said it was a long and complicated story.
Yeah, it is. And for another time.
For another time? Alright
Yeah.
then. Because your voice is fucked.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you have to anticipate that. But, yes, Jake is back, which is amazing. Because that was... Yeah, it's been a long year without you. And we've missed you. But, yeah. You look startled.
Jake is tiny in that frame.
Yeah.
I'm just like a little speck.
That's good. At least you can hear him.
Yeah, I suppose.
Anyway.
Hello!
Anyway.
I'm all the way at the back here.
Yes. But, Jake, the important question that we really need to ask you is, what do you call a camel with no humps?
Wait, hold on.
A camel with erectile dysfunction.
No.
A camel with no humps.
No. Hump free.
Alright.
Welcome back.
Yeah, that's the one.
Are these jokes used in any other videos? Or do you reserve them
Only
just
yours.
for these?
Only
Just
yours.
for you.
Great.
Only yours.
Great. Wow.
Yeah.
What an honor.
But, yeah. Leave a comment if you'd like us to read it out on the videos. We only do it on that one, these ones as well. We don't do it on any others. Well, we do, actually, to be fair, we do a certain kind of comment on another video series we do, but it's different to this. That being the worst of Classica, we read out...
A thing for us to defend.
Yeah, a thing for us to defend. But just a general comment. If you want us to read it out, leave it. And yeah, there's always that. Patreon.com/Genesis of Androzani if you'd like to contribute to the channel. We have multiple tiers, such as the timey-wimey tier. We get early access and exclusive access. Early access is usually at least 12 hours before. With this Advent calendar, obviously, days 1 to 25, everyone's watching at the same time, so there isn't an early access for that. However, because I want to honour my patrons, there's an extended calendar at the end of that for days 26 to 31 that you will get, and then that will be released in the public in the new year, week by week. So yeah, there's that.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, something I decided now, and it's not like we're filming months in advance, are we?
No, it is
No.
currently December 24th.
It's
Happy Hanukkah.
Yep. What is the date, actually?
It is October the 5th.
Wow.
Yeah, much more organised than last year we were. And then we also have the master tier where you can request videos for us to do, which we have done so far.
Yep.
Twitter.com/Giandrazzani if you'd like to get in contact with us or see what we're talking about. Whilst Jake may follow us, I have strongly advised him not to look at anything we post because obviously spoilers. So
Don't ruin it for
yeah.
yourself.
And you haven't done so far?
No.
Good. That's
I mean, I've clicked on the profile, but then I just see like a bunch of text, and I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah. That's dangerous territory.
Yeah. Because you know, not only would you ruin it for yourself, but you'd ruin the experience for them.
Yeah.
Watching you
Yeah.
experience it.
Yeah.
Like I all I remember is that I hated Idiot's Lantern, and
Yeah, that was the last time you watched, and no surprise you missed 8 months of this after that.
yeah,
You're
turned
like,
me off.
You're like, I'm never watching this again.
Catch you later.
Idiot's Lantern, yeah, that was bad. But
Idiot's Lantern, just for idiots.
yeah, well, but fingers crossed that you get something better today. Like, don't you think?
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be.
But yeah, is there anything else that you want to get off your chest before we get into the Impossible Planet?
Nah.
No,
Nah.
no, you just want to get right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Adam?
Happy holidays, everyone.
Oh yeah, that one. Happy Christmas happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christmas happy.
That's the
Christmas happy, Hanukkah happy,
Yeah.
Kwanzaa, the rest of them, Festivus, whatever they
one.
are.
Say hello to your family for me, everyone.
Say hi to your mum for me.
Yeah.
That's the thing Rove used to say.
Enjoy your roast turkey.
Have a sloppy kiss with your distant relatives that you don't give a shit about.
All right. Roger that.
Nah, I'm good.
Not when you're sick like that. You don't want to spread your germs.
Yeah, nah.
But yes, happy holidays, everyone. Hope you enjoy this video because I think it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get right into the Impossible Planet.
That's what it's called! I forgot!
He just said it before.
I'm just deaf. As well as losing my voice.
I'm gonna guess it's a pirate ship.
Pirates. Wouldn't that be a good idea?
Arr.
It's like a vault from Fallout.
Especially with the colour of the doors and
Yeah.
stuff.
It's probably one of the coolest designed
Yeah.
They're great.
ones.
Spaghetti mouth.
Spagball monster. You know the fake religion Pastafarian. That's their
With the flying spaghetti monster.
yeah, but that's the little minions from the Flying Spaghetti Monster. Yeah.
We must feed. Are they gonna get eaten, Jake?
Well, I haven't seen this in a while.
Surfboard's back.
Yeah.
Not
Just gonna.
There's this guy who went to my school called Matt Jones.
Yeah.
Hey, Jake.
Yeah. They must feed. Oh God, an American. No, he's not an American.
Much better that way.
Jesus. What, we're like 3 minutes in?
Yeah.
And shit's already blowing up?
Oh, yeah. I love the sort of naval feeling of this base.
Yeah.
That it feels like a submarine.
Oh. That shot of the dude doing for behind the fire.
Do as I say.
Oh, there's some tension amongst the ranks. Whoa. Oh, it's a black hole.
It's very. My eyes are like, whoa, when I see the black hole. It's very weird to look at.
So a bit worse than the storm then. Just a bit, yeah.
Just a touch worse.
Black holes are like a wonderful nihilistic nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, it's a natural disaster in space.
Except, like,
It's one of
there's
the
no disaster relief. It's just nothing.
Yeah. You know they took the first picture of a black hole, like the other, it was like
That's
2
right.
months ago.
Yeah, that was so cool. Fucking love space, man.
This reminds me of that Riddick movie.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got a very similar sort of hot
Yeah.
aesthetic, you know, like it's very sweaty and gross.
You flew down that thing? Like a roller coaster.
Well, that's the ship should have been so about.
Why does Rose find this so amusing?
Well, I went to Australia recently. I went on roller coasters.
It's fun. I like roller coasters.
Yeah.
I don't like heights.
Almost fucked my hand though, because the new one that they have doesn't have the shoulder straps,
What the fuck?
but it's the biggest one, and I was like, you have to hold like that.
Oh, like handles in front of you.
It's got your hips down, so you can't fall out, but it's like your shoulders aren't strapped in.
That sounds bad for your spine.
Your refreshment.
Would you like some spaghetti?
I'm sorry, what was your name?
We have no titles. We are a swan.
Oh, are they a hive mind?
Oh, come on. Supervision and maintenance.
Yo, she got an espresso? Hell yeah.
Ooh, espresso.
Don't start.
This is one of the best sides of this version of the Doctor is his excitement for exploration and science and his sheer joy for knowledge. It's wonderful. And humanity.
Oh no, not the TARDIS.
What's happened?
Vitalis is gone.
Uh-oh.
The earthquake.
You finally got your alien terrain, Jake.
Oh shit.
After all this time, you finally got your alien terrain.
It's a bloody cliff, isn't it?
Trapped next to a black hole. Your TARDIS is gone. Well, they're fucked.
They're pretty much fucked.
So either they fall into a pit.
Well, they get
Oh,
sucked into a black hole.
Yeah. Basically.
Or they run out of oxygen.
Yeah.
Or they die in an earthquake. Oh, it's like Queenstown Bungee.
Huh.
They said it's volcanic, so if you fall all the way down, you die. Come out with melted limbs. This is probably why I've been anticipating this a lot, Jake, because the one thing you've wanted this whole time is an alien planet, and you
Yeah.
finally fucking got it, and you were one episode away.
It's the black hole speaking.
Danny, is that you?
Would you like sauce with that?
Oh yeah, some beans.
The beast and his armies shall rise from the pit to make war against God.
I'm sorry?
Apologies. I said, I hope you enjoy your meal.
Yeah.
Whoa. The Ood are the bad guys.
Nah, he's just fucking around.
Ah,
Just having a jam.
Cool.
just joshing.
You assume my agenda? The beast and his armies will rise from the pit against God. Sorry.
Sorry, what?
Did you catch that, Jake?
Yeah. Yes, horns. Oh, Grandma.
That was a
See
gorgeous
that?
cut.
The circles.
Imagine watching this with really bassy speakers.
This was real erotic. Oh, don't turn around. Shit. That was pretty traumatic. Damn.
On the edge. That red cloud.
house or something, a proper house with doors and these
It
cars.
sounds so boring, doesn't it?
Now that is terrifying.
Yeah, no mortgage.
No.
Oh, yes.
I'm dying, that's it. I am dying, it is all over.
Got a mortgage, gonna hang myself.
Turned up stuck here.
Yeah, but stuck with you, that's not so bad.
Aw.
Yes.
Oh, that made me feel good, darling.
Oh, he's the beast.
They've got up to basic 30. But they can't.
That's weird.
What? They can't. Oh no.
He is awake.
Huh.
He is awake.
Oh no. That's terrifying.
Toby. It's not there, is it?
I like how there's no atmosphere, but there's a wind blowing.
Yeah. Come hither.
Well, to be fair, the black hole is sucking away all sorts of parts.
Oh no, I know. And what I mean is, I'm not trying to nitpick. What I mean is literally that it's off. That it shouldn't be blowing like that, but it is because there's something awry with this whole planet.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It's like Linda 2.0.
Except nowhere near as, because that just where you see the lights flash up and you know exactly what they're saying. It's brilliant.
Ah. Bye bye.
I'm so sorry.
It's like spinning like a rotisserie.
Well, yeah, the black hole's cooking her.
She was 20.
She's 20.
20 years old.
Didn't look 20. I'm bloody nearly 22 and I fucking...
Maybe the black hole weathers you.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bad way to go. All your particles split, like, slowly.
Slowly stretched out.
Ugh.
The ashes of his father.
And then you turn into pasta.
Single protocol. We don't even know who you are. Yeah, but you trust me, don't you? And you can't let Ido get down there, alright? Go on. Look me in the eye. Yes, you do. I can see it.
I want that spacesuit back in one piece. You got that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Bob.
It's funny and loud.
Isn't Billy Piper only like 20 in this?
21.
Yeah.
He's 102 now.
Sugar daddy.
Sugar daddy. Not anymore. He's lost his TARDIS. He's got no
Yeah.
fucking money. All he's got is a magic wallet, magic screwdriver. That's it.
Hey, magic wallet is all you need.
Oh, that's a very slow elevator.
The slowest elevator ever. Takes them a week just to get down there.
You imagine being in an elevator that's
Well,
slow.
look how fast it's going.
Well, it is
It's
now.
speeding up probably.
Yeah.
Right.
Accelerating.
Love that
Imagine-
shot.
So imagine being in that elevator with a stranger and like, so, how's your day? Where you going? Oh, pit of this planet.
How's the children?
Dead.
Oh,
Dead.
wait.
They're all in the black hole.
Forget to breathe. Breathing's good.
She's like turning into Jackie. It's funny when it happens, when kids turn into their parents.
Yeah.
Wow, that happened in the series 1 finale. She basically turned into Pete.
The Uter on the move. Whoa.
I love it.
What was the budget for this episode?
We'll find out, I suppose.
Alright. Are those firefighter helmets converted into...
Probably.
blink blink?
Captain, sir.
Just tell them.
Huh?
Legion of the Beast sounds like a great metal band.
Yeah. What the fuck? Oh, it's a two-parter.
Ta-da!
I was like, what the hell? This is going a bit long, isn't it?
Okay. Jake,
Hello.
your initial reaction to the Impossible Planet.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Give me a sort of break, without going into deep detail, give me a sort of breakdown of your thoughts.
Definitely what I've been looking forward to with the Doctor, and it really covered one of my favorite types of stories, which is, you know, alien planet stuck on it. You know, don't really know what the hell's happening, and there's some kind of evil going on. Like, I compared it to the Riddick film earlier, and like Pitch Black is one of my favorite movies.
Have you seen Event Horizon?
No, I don't think I have.
Watch that.
Okay.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Me or you, Adam, first?
You can go first.
All right. Love it. I mean, I'm not sure if because this reaction might be a little bit weird because we didn't talk much, but it's because I
was just enjoying
very engrossed in it. It's so good.
It breezes by.
The cliffhanger, like the last 2 minutes, like the hairs are standing up on my arms.
Yeah.
And I've seen this story like 6 times.
Ooh.
And I'm still terrified of it.
Yeah.
It's a haunting.
It's just very unsettling, isn't
It's very haunting, yeah. And Miles better than the Idiot's Lantern in every way.
it? I actually don't even remember what the Idiot's Lantern was about. It was that bad.
About TVs,
Oh, that was that one. Yep.
yeah, with the wire. Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah. I mean, I'm sure you share my sentiment, Adam. It's
Well, excuse me. Like Jake, I share this kind of... I love when a story thrusts characters into a complete unknown. Where to begin with, the Doctor's kind of fun and sort of a little bit campy because he's like, oh, a base, I'm used to these. And then suddenly there's this language that the TARDIS can't translate. He loses the TARDIS, and then there's this creature he hasn't encountered before called the Ood, and they're, you know...
Oh, yeah.
And then slowly throughout, we're sort of drip-fed that there's more going on than just this bizarre black hole that's not eating the planet that they're on.
Yeah.
It just slowly builds and builds and builds, and then when it reaches the climax, you're like, what the fuck? And then it's like, surprise! Some fucking demon.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on my behalf, this review is going to be pretty one-sided because I love everything about it.
It's brilliant, yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, that's kind of to sort of spoil everything going forward, but...
And even though, off the top of my head, I can't remember their names, the periphery cast are really well... But I'm sure we'll get into that. But they're really well established, which really elevates the episode.
Yeah. But, yeah. Fucking love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a first
Half.
first half of a two-parter, or it could be a three-parter, you never know. It was really good.
Yeah.
Like, generally the first part is always a bit slow, but yeah. Oh.
2 installations.
Yeah. PS4 is installed.
But, you know, from the minute it started to the minute it ended, I was completely hooked.
Yeah.
It's beautiful television.
It's really good.
Yeah. So should we sort of crack into the characters?
Yeah.
Go for goals.
So let's go for the Doctor. Jake, your thoughts on the Doctor?
Yeah, I think Adam covered it before in that it was like a good start where it seemed all good. You know, everything. He was just excited to be in this new space, and then slowly but surely started seeing things going wrong and nuances and the way, especially that they're fucking just floating in front of a black hole. It kind of took you like I was very much watching the episode through the Doctor's perspective, and
This is all mystery to him. That's the great part.
yeah, and but
Usually he's got a decent idea. He's like, oh, I've been to this planet before. I've heard of it. I know the language. Whereas this, he's like,
yeah,
I can't read this language. I've never seen
Yeah.
this before. I don't even know this. Why this exists. This is impossible.
but
Yeah.
it really helped the story arc in the way that the Doctor was who you were following, and you followed him as if you trusted him as if everything was all good, and then slowly but surely towards the end you're like, oh no, this is shit.
The Doctor is at his best when he's on the back foot.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I think Tennant, in comparison to the last episode, is night and day. Because Idiot's Lantern, I thought he was very badly characterized
yeah,
and quite obnoxious, whereas here he was full force.
There was a proper, genuine, believable warmth to begin with, and this excitement and curiosity, and then slowly but surely fear. And even though he's not one of the ones freaking out by the end, you can tell he's unsettled,
yeah,
and that's quite rare for this very sort of cocksure Doctor.
He seems extremely challenged, but he's happy to go along with it. He's like, it's so like, whoa, what is this? This is so odd. Like, he can't formulate in his head what's going on, so he has to investigate regardless of how dangerous it is. He's like, there's a black hole, my TARDIS is gone, which was, I love that. I love that the TARDIS is gone. It presents another danger. And the fact that there is this pit in the middle of the planet, and it has these ancient markings on it. It's such a great mystery.
yeah.
And to see him just sort of be so eager to find out what's behind it, I love. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Of course, though, we do have to assess his David Tennant cocaine meter. Honestly, I would say he was sober.
Pretty sober.
Yeah.
Sober.
But I think that's a massive come down after the Scarface and a half he had last time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to see him just sort of in his element.
Yeah.
But yeah, thumbs up for me. Thumbs up. Rose Tyler, Jake.
Yeah, she was definitely a catalyst to the
Sidecast?
wait, Rose Tyler.
Mm.
Yeah. What?
Catalyst to the sidecast.
No, she was a catalyst to the story taking its side, like the bad turn. Obviously, like with the phone, and then with the black hole saying
She
all
was
that shit.
noticing the things more than anyone
Yeah.
else.
Well,
Like
I think
the ood in her phone.
Well, she was vocalizing
it's
it.
very
more.
much a lot of the ways purpose of a companion really is the relatable risk. Because
Yeah.
obviously we're talking about the Doctor. He's interested and he's taking a lot of risks because he's there's that scene where they're like, hey, you should probably close that black hole door because you might go mad. And the Doctor's like, no, I won't go mad. I'll be fine. Whereas I think she's definitely, to us, is the sort of
the human
representing the actual risk of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
she was good.
yeah, I really like the fact that I used her to sort of introduce, like, the exposition tends to be delivered to companions because they're the ones that need to know this new stuff. The fact that she was used to explain who these side cast members are and also the Ood as well. I think the fact that she was asking all the questions gave us a lot of information we needed to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think in terms of a personality level, I mentioned before there was a moment where she reminded me of Jackie.
Yeah.
And I really like that because there's a general theme with Russell T Davies writing, with especially the human characters, the sense that he makes the family members feel connected to each other. And there were moments towards the end of series 1 where after Father's Day where she channeled Pete, especially in the finale. that sort of fearless, rightful, putting yourself at risk. Whereas with here, she's obviously she's been traveling with the Doctor for a long time now, and like Jackie has become quite almost protective. And there was what was that line she said? She's like, "Don't forget to breathe." I like that they make her feel like she's sort of growing into her parents, if that makes sense.
She's maturing. It's not, because it's like she's learning, she's growing, which is what I really like, because my big complaint with Rose in the last episode is she felt very immature.
Yeah.
And this is the opposite of that, where she's still her fun-loving self and curious and flirty, but she's knows when to be serious, and she's not always, self-righteous in a sort of braggadocio kind of way. She's friendly and approachable and kind, empathetic, but mature.
I love the scene when she goes to get the food and she's talking to the Ood.
Yeah.
The way she's like, I used to be a lunch lady, not that you're a lady. I don't know. Are you? Aren't you?
Yeah, she's trying to be respectful.
She's humanizing them.
Yeah.
But then the Ood is just like,
Yeah.
Fucking hail Satan.
yeah. But I really like and I think when you're talking about in comparison to Eirich Lantern, because obviously Eirich Lantern is an example of when it went wrong with Rose and the Doctor. What I like in terms of comparing this is that they both are following the trend of the sort of cavalier attitude that they have now, where they've been on so many adventures that they feel bulletproof. But what makes this different is that it doesn't completely fuck with it. Because with Eirich Lantern, as they were doing the same thing, but it was extremely annoying because they were, for example, they were going into that guy's house, the family's house, just doing whatever, and it just didn't feel right because they felt like a bunch of school kids messing about.
Yeah.
Whereas here, they are doing it, but it's within the realm of actual risk. So they're actually in an environment where there's real danger.
Yeah.
And they're obviously jumping in and going, hey, we want to do this adventure fun thing, and there's some weird satanic markings. This is crazy, and we might die, but hey, we're bulletproof and we've lost our TARDIS, so we might as well do whatever we can and just have fun. But they're still taking it seriously, which is what I really appreciate. And I just wish that some of the communication between the writers was better, because if this was the kind of Rose we got in every episode, it would be so much better.
This is series 1, Rose.
Exactly.
But more mature.
Yeah, and it was the same in Tooth and Claw. She was like this in Tooth and Claw as well. It's just a shame that you get an episode like Eirich Lantern where she's just a silly teenager.
Yeah.
And it's obnoxious and annoying.
Because that's the key. I think you've summed it up. Is some writers view her as a sort of doughy-eyed, absent-minded teenager, which is wrong. And other people describe her as a slightly overconfident but very capable young adult.
Yeah.
And that's the Rose that is the best.
Yeah.
Because she's complicated and interesting, and she's an everyday woman, but she's, there's a relatability to her, and her confidence isn't arrogance. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed you turned to me at one point in the middle of the episode. I think it was...
There was a music cue that I had.
Oh, okay.
But I was wrong.
Okay.
It just sounded similar to something that'll come up later.
Alright, yeah. That's fine then.
Yeah.
And another thing, I'm not sure if you'll agree with me, because I know this is something that you're not particularly easy on, but there's a scene in this episode where they're talking about, they've obviously lost the TARDIS. They're talking about, like, what are we going to do from here? So, from my point of view, just from my own experience watching this, I find the way that this episode sort of handles the Doctor and Rose relationship, I think it's a lot more respectful than a lot of the other episodes are.
Because the Doctor doesn't want to be in a relationship with her. That's what I like about that scene, is that the Doctor... So, clearly they're writing it as if he loves her romantically. but he knows that he's going to outlive her.
Well, he mentioned that in school reunion.
Exactly. And as much as I don't really like the romance element of it, I think it was very well written and well presented here as an idea.
Well, it's much better than Elvis on a bike, isn't it?
Yep. But yeah, so I'm not huge on the romance element, but I do think it was well handled in this episode.
Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts on that, Jake? That scene.
Yeah. The one before he goes down.
Well, it's the one where they're sitting at the table.
And he's like, I don't want to get a mortgage and all that
Yeah,
shit.
definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was partly, I think, that they were respecting the relationship between them, but I also think it was partly because, it's just saying they've done so much shit now that they can't go and lead a normal life. Like, it's partly that as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of layers to it.
Yeah.
It's quite clever.
It's like they're never gonna feel more alive than they are right now. So what's the point of settling down?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just love the fact that the doctor doesn't want to live in a house with a mortgage and have doors. He's just like, fuck that. That's not who I am. And also, in the middle of that scene, you get a bunch of Time Lord lore, which is always great.
Yeah.
The fact that, he's like, well, if this was, back in the day, we could just go to Gallifrey, get another TARDIS. But that's not possible now, because Gallifrey's gone. And yeah. So yeah, really like that. Really like that. Good audience surrogate, I suppose.
Yeah.
The Ood.
Yeah, they were interesting. I knew they, you see the Ood and you're like, and they're all friendly and shit. Also, the first thing they say, what was it? The first thing
We must feed.
we must feed. And it's like, well, shit. And then obviously they do the, oh wait, no, we're actually friends, thing. But, yeah, just, I think, like I said, they are probably the coolest designed, thing that's been in the series that I've seen so far.
You know what's an interesting bit of trivia? Is that costume design is actually it's actually not what it was meant to be.
Oh yeah.
They were designing it, and then it fucked up.
Right.
They botched the design, but then they looked at it and they're like, oh, that actually looks pretty cool how it is.
Yeah.
With like the big brain and the spaghetti mouth. It's
Yeah.
honestly like very creative.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Even if it is not intentional, I would agree,
kinda,
one of my favourite monster designs ever.
Yeah.
The tendrils coming out of
Yeah.
the mouth is inspired.
Yeah.
It's like a herd of Zoidbergs.
Yeah, and I fucking adore this concept that they can only survive by being a slave.
Yeah.
That's extremely fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's like, and Rose is like, well, why are you keeping slaves? And they're like, but if they're not slaves,
They
they
just kill
die.
themselves, yeah.
They just die. That's just
It's baffling.
What I
Yeah.
love about this episode is it's brutally nihilistic. Even
Yeah.
though it frames itself as a kind of fun base under siege
Yeah.
story, it's just miserable.
Yeah. In contrast to the sort of like romantic fun adventure that the series tone is sort of going for, this is incredibly challenging,
Yeah.
which I adore.
Yeah.
It's as nihilistic as some of the series 1
Yeah.
episodes.
It's a very Series 1 feeling episode.
Well, it's not quite Rob Sherman, but it's pretty.
It's
pretty
getting
good.
there,
It's
though.
getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the Uda for me are like they're top tier monsters.
Cool name as well.
Yeah. Yeah. The concept, the design, the name, everything. They are a complete, package
Yeah.
in terms of a Doctor Who. I mean, would you even call them a villain?
No.
No? Creature? Monster?
They become a sort of henchman towards the end when they're possessed.
They're like the Locusts. From, have you guys played Halo before?
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
I've heard of those, yeah.
They're like no, the Flood. Sorry, the Flood, not the
Oh,
Locust.
that's
The
right,
Locust
yeah.
is from Gears of War. The Flood. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jake's played a lot of games.
they're like a hive mind. That's controlled by.
Yeah, but it's not
Something else.
like the Autons You know, the plastic dummies.
Yeah.
It's not like that where they're mindless shells. Those were great too. They were
Yeah.
great. But on another level,
You can talk to the Ood.
yeah, they're actual characters.
Yeah.
Even though they don't have names, they're actual characters, and they have a personality.
Yeah, they have a semblance of being.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
have a purpose outside of being possessed as well.
Yeah.
So you almost get a double whammy with them.
Yo, they make food. You see those beans? They were good. Some soy sauce?
Yeah, beans and soy sauce.
Beans are
Is that what we
fucking
have in the
nutritious.
That's what we have in the future. Black hole food. Is that black holes produce black beans?
Cook my steak on the black hole.
Stretch it out nice and wide.
Nice long steak. But yeah, love the Ood. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So before we get into all the other side characters,
Yeah.
we have to discuss the main sort of focused one, and that is Toby Zed, who was taken over by the Beast.
Yeah.
Don't look. Don't look, you'll die.
Oh, don't look. Oh, don't look.
I mean,
I can touch you.
you made a comment during the reaction that it was terrifying. Jake.
Me?
Yeah, you said that.
I said it was terrifying, and then moments later I said it was kind of erotic as well.
I'm not to know that. Satanic fetish.
I mean, it kind of was, though. It was like some dude just going, don't look.
Well, that's kind of like in literature. There's often a kind of seductive level to the
to the
demons
beast.
and devils. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's probably not unintentional, but obviously they couldn't go too far with it because it is still a family
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
But that's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the implication.
Yeah.
That there was a level of seduction
the
there.
fact that he is enjoying this
Yeah.
is quite
Yeah.
unsettling.
Yeah.
One of my favourite lines that really sort of hammers the nail down on what this beast character represents. Obviously, it's suggested the devil, but there's the line where he says, I can't remember the name of the guy, but the guy you said that looks like Bron. He said he was talking about, has your wife ever forgiven you for what you did?
Yeah.
And that is a very reminiscent of Devil's Advocate,
Yeah.
in the sense that he knows your secrets, like your
Yeah.
the bad things you've done.
But then not only that, but he adds a layer to it by saying, she never did.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's true, we don't know. But the fact that the devil...
The fact that
yeah.
he was shaken by him saying that
Yeah.
suggests that it might be.
Yeah. I like the whole idea that the language wasn't actually a language, and it was more just like a marking. No, it was like a sigil, like a
Well,
Yeah.
it's because the Doctor explained, I think, I'm not sure if you heard it, but he didn't exactly explain, but his
Suggestion.
suggestion, his theory is that the language is so old that the TARDIS can't translate it because it's before time,
yeah.
which is again very unsettling.
Yeah.
The fact that this goes beyond time is quite nerve-wracking.
Yeah. But it's like, it's almost, because obviously his body was fully marked by it. It's like, it's not just a language, it's a
It's like a way that
It's
the
like a
beast,
symbol,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like a form of the beast.
yeah.
In text.
But for me, all the scenes where Toby is either being talked to by the beast or he's being possessed by the beast are just iconic in my mind. Like,
Yeah.
This was one of the first stories I saw as a kid,
Yeah.
and it fucking terrified me. I had nightmares from it. It was the scene, especially the one where he's standing outside the
And
door.
that like creepy grin. Like if you watch it now, like it's kind of funny, but it is really creepy at the same time.
Yeah, and then the fact that he killed that woman and she's just floating in space is quite.
And then she spins off like a rotisserie.
Yeah,
And then
it's very dark.
Yeah. It's heavy.
It is very heavy. Yeah. And I love the performance from the actor as well. I think he completely pulls it off.
the fear when he's pulled out of, when the devil is out of him, the absolute, like the fact that he's just constantly trembling after it.
Yeah, and not only the actor who plays Toby Zed, but the voice of the Beast as well,
yes.
Yeah.
by Gabriel Wolfe, who,
Oh yes.
funnily enough, it was his birthday yesterday.
Oh.
He's very old. I can't remember how old he is. I didn't look it up, but
It's like 78 or something. isn't
yeah,
it?
he's very old. But
Happy birthday, Gabe.
But yeah, Gabriel Wolf voiced another character in Classic Who with a very similar aura. So
Is that going to be the classic clip?
we'll get to it later.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gabriel Wolf was famous from a certain episode of Classic Who and was brought back to voice the Beast, and he's just icy cold, chilling voice, isn't it? You know, don't look. And then the whole sequence of dialogue towards the end when the Ood are talking,
Yeah.
it's ugh.
I love the like telepathic screaming, you know, like as if you can't hear anything, but it's almost as if they're like screaming at you out of their brain.
Yeah.
Pretty freaky.
I have awoken. And then the line at the cliffhanger, I've rewatched that cliffhanger a lot because there's a video on YouTube with a compilation of like all the new Who cliffhangers. And one of my favourite ones is that one where he says, "The pit is open, and I am free." Like that. And funnily enough, as a kid, this was the first cliffhanger I ever saw of Doctor Who. So yeah, I remember I was furious when it was over because like, no, I want to see what happens next. Yeah.
Mine was the Sensorites one.
Oh,
Which
that's
aren't the Sensorites and the Ood like sister species?
Yeah, very very similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, love it. It's just great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then we have the beyond that we got the other side characters. There's the guy called Zachary Crossflame. I think he's the captain.
Yeah, that's
He's
cool.
cool. He's a cool guy. There's a few others I can't exactly remember their names because even though they did say them, it's hard to remember all of them.
Yeah.
But I sort of know them by face.
And by
Yeah.
Brawl.
Yeah. Because obviously you got the guy who you said looks like Bron. You got Zachary Crossflame.
The ethics dude.
You got the 20-year-old woman that died.
Yeah.
That we don't think looks 20. You got the other one that was with her that looks mother age. The curly-haired one, and then you got I don't know if he's Indian or Arab, but he's the one that looks after.
Sort of the ethics guy.
The guy who looks after the Ood, who's like basic 100. What does this mean? And I can't remember if there's anyone else apart from obviously Toby Zed. But yeah, you got the side cast.
Yeah.
Obviously. And I think they're really good. I do think they add a lot to the story.
And there's a dynamic to them, like.
They felt unnecessary as well.
Yeah, and like when Crossflame tells Toby to go, investigate what's wrong, he says that's not my jurisdiction. He says just do it. There's clearly my belief in that is there used to be a different captain. My sort of headcanon, what I believe is Crossflame wasn't.
They did say at the start, acting captain Crossflame.
That's right. Yeah. So the original captain died. So no one like Toby doesn't really respect Crossflame, and that kind of interpersonal dynamic, which sort of gets thrown out the window when they're like fucking hail Satan and shit. But yeah, I like it.
It was actually one of the one that I forgot to mention, but he died at the end. The Ood threw his ball at his head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And they were like the
He
like
was the
soldiers as well. They were like the soldiers as well.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple of them.
Yeah. They were the red shirts.
But like, you made a very good point about that actually. The fact that they all felt like they had purpose.
Yeah. But like it's the same in any movie that's like this as well. Like you always have these array of characters. It's normally 4 or 5 as well.
Yeah.
And they all have different like specialties, like medical and
Especially sci-fi.
One's military
Especially
and
sci-fi.
The tactics, the security.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got just one of the innocent bystanders who's just like some random person.
Yeah, usually like a lower ranking person who's just
and
sort of
Rose
naive.
is sort of that in this
And
in this
the woman
scenario.
gets pushed into space.
Yeah.
She were only 20.
Yeah, but I've always found this crew to be very memorable. Like especially Zachary Crossflame, he's one of those characters that sticks with you.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't do he's not like massively part of the story as much as someone like Toby Zed is, but when he's on screen, he has a presence.
Yeah.
And I like that he seems so desperate to prove that he's like, I can do this, that he's like, no, we're not diverting from the plan, we're drilling down, that's it, they're dying, let's move on, Like, he's just so goal focused because that's all he has. Even though he's not got much screen time, you understand that he is shaken, but he's trying not to let it show.
Yeah, and I really like the scene where him and the Doctor are arguing over who's going to go down. What I like about that is that he, as a captain, he is saying, I need to go down because it's risk and, you know, it's my responsibility. But then the Doctor, with his almost manipulative charm, says, no, it'll be me, I'll do it, you stay here, you're the captain. Because the Doctor's like desperate to go down because he's curious. And that, I know like 90% of people might not pick up on that, but it's a very subtle hint at the kind of danger that the Doctor has.
He has an ego.
Yeah,
he has a massive ego. The 10th Doctor has a massive ego, and that makes him kind of interesting because he's a bit of a twat sometimes. He's always manipulative. Yeah. But then again, so was Hartnell, so was Troughton, so was Pertwee, so was Baker.
Yeah,
so was...
it's under the surface, but it's very much there. The sense that he's changed the outcome of whatever's going to happen through his sort of... When he's doing it, he's not yelling at him saying, no, it'll be me and not you. He's very much just sort of being friendly about it, which is quite almost sociopathic. Yeah,
he's playing into the other person's hand.
Yeah. Which is much better than, like, when, you know, we're going back to comparing to Idiot's Lantern. We're basically just doing a breakdown of what's good and what works about this and what doesn't work about that.
Yeah.
Because in the Idiot's Lantern you get that, but it's, I am talking
and I'm not listening.
Yeah, and that's just yuck and awful. So
it's bums. Yeah.
But so, anything else you want to say about sort of the characters before we move on to the next section?
No, I think we covered it pretty cleanly.
Okay, so the plot of The Impossible Planet.
Cheers. I mean, it is a very linear plot, you know? Like it's not anything.
Well, it's Discovery, really.
Yeah, it's not anything that's like insanely creative or dynamic or anything. But in saying that, it's taken the traditional idea of like discovering or like being stranded somewhere.
Yeah, the base under siege.
Yeah. And doing it really, really well. And there are some like elements in there that are quite creative with the beast and the marking on Toby and stuff like that.
Well, for me, the plot, what makes this plot great for me is the fact that it takes that sci-fi film plot that you get in stuff like Event Horizon and whatnot. Like, and what it does is it piles on top of that the flair and the creativity of Doctor Who and makes it very special.
Yeah, it sort of it beat by beat. It's quite traditional in its structure, but it's the elements that it uses that creates sort of very unique atmosphere.
Yeah.
Slave race.
It's one of the ones that like it's. Because with Idiot's Lantern, it was like I just didn't care for any of the TVs or side characters or all that bullshit.
Because it's crap.
But even some other episodes, like I just didn't really care that much for any of the, any of the cast.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the other things as well is this had a lot to introduce, and because it has a good steady pace to it, it allows you to learn things naturally.
Yeah.
Because you've got a stranded alien planet with a base with 5 side cast members next to a black hole. You've got to explain the science behind that. You've got a slave race that are also being... they also have a connection to what's possessing them.
Yeah.
You've got to explain the gravity. You've got to explain... And you've also got the TARDIS missing. On top of that, you've got the series arc with the characters as well. And there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot that they had to get done in this episode, and I think the fact that they managed to do all of it so brilliantly is a showcase of how excellent the writing is.
Yeah.
Because I think they nailed it. I think they nailed every aspect.
And the fact that, at least for the first half, it's very traditional. It's a testament to the quality of the dialogue, quality of the pacing, and quality of the direction that just keeps efficiently moving on and is engaging.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that, especially for Doctor Who fans, if they've watched the classic series as well, This is a formula we've seen so many times before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to make a comparison to another episode that has a lot of ideas thrown into it but doesn't quite work, like New Earth, for example, because that has a lot of ideas too.
Oh god, yeah.
But because the writing isn't structured well, it doesn't feel natural when it delivers it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously it's tonally quite inconsistent, whereas this is so masterfully polished all the way
Yeah.
through that it's so enriched in
Yeah.
layers. It's got character drama, it's got great concepts, it's greatly made, greatly written,
Yeah.
greatly acted. It's
This one feels more like this happened because this happened, because this happened, because this happened. Whereas New Earth is like, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens because of this. But it's New Earth is far less cohesive and connected, whereas this is like this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, and there's a reason for it. Even if we don't know the definitive source of the reason, we're like, okay, black hole causing earthquakes, this causing that, this causing that.
And part of that may be to do with the fact that one of the things that I will get back to in more detail when we get to the Series 2 recap is the fact that I'm almost certain that out of all 11 seasons of New Who, this is the one that had the most rushed schedule for writing and casting and also making it and filming it. Most rushed from when the point they had to start at to the point they had to deliver it out. So, and I think the reason why that may be, the way you're saying that, is the fact that New Earth was one of the first ones filmed. I think it was Christmas Invasion was first, but then you had like School Reunion and New Earth, because that was when Tennant had the longer hair. But in between he got like a haircut, but then it grew out again, and then it went short again. But that was one of the first ones filmed, so it was quite rushed to be delivered. Whereas this one was filmed last. This was the last one filmed in the schedule, which means that it had an extra few months to process, which means that it's a much more polished final product.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's the same even with Age of Steel and the Rise of Cybermen. You know, even though like I was kind of lukewarm on it, I like it, but it's you know, it falls into that trapping of being a little bit formulaic. Whereas this is just, you know, it's just much tighter. Yeah. I know you love that episode, but in terms of like,
Well, not compared to this though.
exact. That's.
I do love Rise of Cybermen and Just Steel mainly because of one thing. Well, Mickey's whole story, and the Cybermen and the performance.
So someone here doesn't like the Cybermen, but
Yeah, well,
that's neither here nor there.
They're just lame.
yeah. But and just the memes of John Lubick. That's another thing. And also exploring Pete and Jackie in an alternate universe as well.
It's all interesting. Like I like the episode, but I just think this is a much tighter script.
Oh, it is. It is
Yeah.
better. It is
Yeah.
much better.
And also tighter production. But that's my point I was
Yeah.
making.
Well, the fact that it was filmed last meant that it had the most time to breathe.
Exactly.
But is there anything else we want to say about the plot before we go into the clip?
No, I'm good.
No? Okay. It's not the one you're thinking of, because that'll be the next episode.
Understood.
But the Ood, I think when this first came out even, the Ood are often compared to a villain from the Fourth Doctor's era in a story called The Robots of Death. So the clip we're going to be watching is called When Robots Go Bad. This is from the same story that had the Which Box is Larger
Oh yeah.
clip. So yeah, it's from that one.
Stand by. Prepare to accept computer signal.
Prepared to accept computer signal.
Now on your further orders, 7.
Ah.
No, brother. You are one of us now.
Well, that was fucking creepy.
Yeah. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, it was very creepy, and unsettling. Almost more unsettling than any of that episode that we
Really?
just watched. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. That it was just, I think it was the dude's voice, not the whispering one, but the like robot's voice. I don't know.
I think maybe because his,
And the way it looked.
the robot's face is still,
Yeah.
yet he's moving. It's quite sort of
Yeah.
uncanny valley.
And also the editing, the seizure-inducing kind of rapid cutting creates a naturally unsettling.
Yeah. I would also say the raw energy of sort of classic Who's production
Yeah.
is quite off-putting.
It's gross.
Yeah,
It's hard to watch classic Doctor Who when you're feeling sick,
true.
especially Colin Baker's era.
Yeah, especially season 23.
It makes me.
What the mind warp planet? Ugh.
Rough.
But yeah, Robots of Death is a very popular story.
Yeah.
And the Ood are often compared to the robots from that.
Yeah.
Probably because they have the red eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right then, so the reception for The Impossible Planet. One reviewer described it as an extremely well written and directed episode with awesome visuals and excellent sound design, though he noted that much of this episode felt like he was watching a moderately entertaining B-movie like Event Horizon. He thought it was presented with ample flair and charm. Well, I haven't seen Event Horizon, however, on another video we did, you said that you prefer this to Event Horizon.
Yes, because Event Horizon, I think you should still watch it,
Right.
but it is very schlocky. Like, Event Horizon takes itself so seriously that it becomes comical when shit starts getting weird.
Right.
But the weird stuff is so entertaining because it's like, what the fuck? And the cast is great. But this is just a much more focused and tight, and even though the plots are really similar, because Event Horizon is a ship flies past a black hole and then hail Satan. It's this is just much more focused and well written, I think. Though the film's still very entertaining.
Build-up of the mystery was superbly paced and intriguing. The characters were fleshed out with masterful economy. Tension was tangible. The villain felt dangerous, and in the idea of an evil entity taking control of a telepathically linked race, we had the kind of good, solid sci-fi idea, simple and technobabble-free enough for the non-sci-fi literate audience to grasp, in which the new series should be trading. It helps that the Ood was such a great piece of design work as well. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
A lot say this episode feels more like Stargate than Doctor Who.
Never really seen Stargate, so I couldn't say.
No, it still feels like Doctor Who. Definitely still feels like a Doctor Who episode.
In terms of what because I've watched a lot of YouTube surrounding Doctor Who, and I've read stuff online about what people think and talked to a lot of people. I've scanned, I would say, thousands of fans for sort of general consensus on Doctor Who. So I do have a general idea of what people think of certain episodes.
Yeah.
Not everyone likes this story, but it is generally high regarded.
Yep.
For the most part, there's sort of two big factors to it. It all depends on how much you appreciate hardcore science fiction. So my friend Daniel, who's very much casual into this realm of genre, when he watched this, he's like, well, that's sci-fi, and that's cool, but it's not really me.
Yeah.
And then there's also the other side of this, which I believe one of our subscribers has mentioned before, Game Troller Prime. Some people who come from a Christian background find this quite touchy because it's obviously dealing with
The devil.
satanic themes.
Yeah.
So if you're sensitive to that sort of thing, it can be off-putting.
Yeah. Well, I think I have a friend who was raised by a Catholic family who they were familiar with the show and knew it was quite a family-friendly show, but when this episode aired, he wasn't allowed to watch the show anymore because it was just such a sensitive topic.
On the contrast to that, you've got our friend Luke, Jake.
Yeah.
Obviously, he grew up Christian, but like an elastic band, he kind of rebelled against that.
Yeah.
And this is his favourite Doctor Who story ever.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
I have a few friends who are sort of similar situation
Yeah.
where they not necessarily like went on and started going grr religion, but they
not like that. No.
they just kind of got out of it.
Yeah.
And this is like one of their favorite episodes because they're so fascinated by the idea of Satan.
I don't really necessarily. And I'm not saying that he was guru religion. I mean more like he was so almost censored for like the first 10 years of his life. To sit down and watch something like this was like, oh, this is like nothing I've ever seen before.
Yeah.
It's a shock to the system.
It was a revolutionary.
Yeah. And I definitely don't think he told his mother what he was watching. You know, because obviously I think she had seen he was watching Doctor Who. She knew what it was because she'd seen it when she was a kid, and she knew that, oh, it's sci-fi and whatnot. But when it came to this one, I don't think he quite communicated exactly what it was because I don't think he wanted her to know what he was watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, he absolutely adores this.
Yeah. Well, as someone from a very not religious background, not that I'm a satanic worshipper, but you know, a very neutrally agnostic, almost atheist household. This is it's pretty standard sci-fi to me. You know, like and I enjoy sci-fi a lot. I wouldn't say I probably would say it's probably my favorite genre. Sometimes, if I'm in the mood.
Depending on the style, because sci-fi can go in a lot of directions.
I like dark sci-fi.
Event Horizon.
Yeah,
Watch Event Horizon.
Yeah. So I just like dark shit, you know.
Yeah.
People dying in game shows.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I think what I've noticed from these reviews is you like contrast.
Yeah.
Because something like...
And in saying that, this is probably something that has the least amount of contrast from its original genre.
Though it does have a lot of contrast from the previous episode.
It does. But that was fucking like 8 months ago that I watched that.
True.
So, but yeah, this definitely... It doesn't matter that it doesn't have so much, not much contrast because it's just done really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, no story has to bring something new to the table as long as it does whatever it's doing really well. That's the thing. Like, I personally...
As long as you're not like feeding into the classic tropes of the genre where everything's super predictable. Like, not every... Well, it was kind of predictable what was going to happen, like, with the Beast talking to him behind his back. It was like, well, either he's going to die, because he's going to turn around, because he's a stupid human, or, you know, the Beast is going to make him go crazy or some shit. And him getting possessed, it's not, like, super out of the box, but it's still... it propelled the story in a good way. Like, it made, like, this whole idea that the base has been infiltrated now, and there's a danger inside the base with the Ood as well. And but then you have it like when he infects the Ood with the writing. Then that's something that I didn't really see coming.
Yeah.
And like that took me a bit off guard, and I was like, well, that's actually quite cool. But yeah. But like I said, it doesn't matter if there's nothing super unique about the episode. It's all done really well either way.
Absolutely.
Well, I think all the elements that, whilst individually you may see in a sci-fi story, the fact that they're all blended together is what makes it special.
Yeah.
The way they cross over is excellent in my opinion. But yeah. So this was written by Matt Jones. He was the script editor for a show written by Russell T Davies called Queer as Folk, which is absolutely nothing like this, but it's still obviously the same team that's writing it. He also worked on Children's Ward, Coronation Street, Clocking Off, Serious and Organised, and Shameless, which is interesting.
Shameless is so good.
Which is interesting though, because obviously before this, a lot of his experience came with soap opera, similar to Russell T Davies. So what I love about this is that this kind of show allows these writers to actually explore their passion.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, it's like exactly like Russell T Davies. You know, obviously he had association with the show before. I think he'd written a couple of novels before he became a showrunner.
He wrote one, yeah.
Yeah. but he was normally known for much more human, down-to-earth, naturalistic kind of drama or dramedy.
And he has been ever since actually. He
The
still
only
is.
the only thing that really dipped into more of the realm of potentially sci-fi, purely just because it was set in the future, was Years and Years. But
Yeah,
I
but
haven't seen it, but it still doesn't
I have.
sound. Yeah,
I have.
yeah.
Well, it's sort of like with editing as my profession. Like, I can bloody make a corporate event video. I'm really good at making them, and I can make one every single day for fucking 3 months straight, and they'll all be really good. But then when someone gives me an opportunity to maybe say make a documentary about something, it's like a breath of fresh air.
About black holes
And
and
it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, and it's like a creative expansion of your mind. And it's always gonna be good when you get a writer who, well, it's actually a gamble because sometimes it won't be good. But I think it's always good to get a writer who isn't exactly well versed in that genre that they're writing for, because you're probably going to get something that's quite unique from that.
Yeah.
Well, also, I think I mentioned in one. I think it may have been The Empty Child, or one of those episodes about how this show was off the air for 16 years. So you have an entire generation of Doctor Who fans just for that period of time, these fans who become writers for TV, who have been thinking about this. It's been boiling in their mind of, well, what if Doctor Who was on air? What would I do? What story would I write? And it all culminates in obviously the revival of this series.
Yeah.
And all these ideas are now being actually presented on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always good for writers to challenge themselves and stuff, and especially if like it's something they're interested in, because usually then they'll be like, aha, finally, and then they'll just get all these ideas out, and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll fall on its face, but usually it's really, really good.
But Matt Jones was the producer when Shameless got awarded for Best British Drama Series.
Yeah.
So he's got a good
No,
Very
I have a slightly controversial opinion. It's one of the rare cases where the American remake is better.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. I love the American Shameless.
What?
It's so good. I love it.
I've never watched Shameless, so I don't know.
It's really good. The remake,
Yeah.
the original's
Just
really
got
good.
triggered because you said American's better.
American version better?
I know it's weird, but it's true. It's great. The American Shameless is great.
Look, the American Office is pretty good.
That's the other exception.
Yeah.
Not to take away from the British versions, because they're both great.
Yeah.
My dad vastly prefers the British version, but then Anthony vastly prefers the American version.
I genuinely prefer British television
Same.
over American television.
Same.
But there are some stellar American shows.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about this, the ultimate is when you combine the best of both. When you get like first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, you get the best of American and British television in one. Obviously adapted from a brilliant novel series. Anyway, that's a bit of a tangent.
American novel series.
Yeah.
Inspired loosely by English
What did
history.
I watched a show called Top Boy recently, and it's a British show, and it's about gangs and drug dealing and stuff in London. But it was honestly one of the most beautifully written, shot, acted, like complete, like most of the cast I've never heard about, but they were all just like, it was so gritty and raw, and just you felt like you were like amongst the gang fucking dealing shit. I mean, yeah, it's not my type of genre normally, but I really loved it.
Yeah. Well, when you can be transported into a genre that you're not familiar or not fond of, yet you love it, I think that is a true achievement.
Yeah.
Which is why I have so much respect for Russell T Davies, because normally I really couldn't give two shits about soap opera.
Yeah.
But then you get an episode like Boomtown, where I'm like, oh no, I actually do like this.
Yeah.
If the characters are good, then that's all that matters in soap opera.
In terms of direction, funnily enough, I mentioned Graham Harper earlier, yet he didn't actually direct this, but there is a technique that was in it when
It's
they
very
flipped
Harpery.
from the circle of the door to the circle of Toby's like
It was a match cut.
mirror, I think.
Yeah.
That's a very Graham Harper-esque thing. But no, it wasn't. It was directed by James Strong. He's worked on a lot of shows, but he's famous for Broadchurch, which he won awards for directing.
Not surprisingly.
Fuck it up.
But I adore the direction of this.
Yeah.
I love it. Especially there's a scene when they're standing around sort of Cross Flame's desk, all the characters, and it pans, but it's like front shots of all the different characters talking.
Yeah.
It's a really well executed.
And
bit.
it doesn't get confusing in terms of the geography.
Mm.
It's very clear where everything is placed, and it doesn't cut in such a way where your brain is jarred. It's like, okay, yep, that makes sequential sense of
Yeah.
the way they are standing.
And I
which is
also
really
love
cool.
the way the CGI is mixed in, especially with the pit.
Yeah, and also I really love like whenever the shutter opens and the whole lighting of the room that just completely changes.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Even the design of the black hole was, I mean, it was pretty rudimentary, but it looked cool.
Like just the
Well, it had a three-dimensional feel to it, because I said that the middle looked warped and it was making me feel like dizzy.
yeah.
Yeah. Plus, this was what, 06
Yeah.
that this came out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it was pretty good for back then.
On British television budget as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you look at Interstellar, and that's probably the best made black hole in any media.
Yeah. That's a fair
And you
shout.
compare it to that, and it's like, well, they got pretty close in making it look good.
Yeah.
Especially with the
Well, with-
that universe.
Well, one thing that you'll learn with
yeah.
Doctor Who's special effects, for the most part, is that less is more.
Yeah.
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 And
Subtlety.
yes.
Yeah.
That's the case with most special effects, I think.
Yeah.
Because like you can have a really cool transformer and like that's really impressive and stuff, but it's nothing onto something as simple as making an ape talk in Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Like that is mind-boggling. Yeah.
You know Chappie?
Yeah.
That's like the most, I mean, it's a pretty shit film, but it's the most renowned special effects.
You know what's fucking crazy? He didn't wear a mocap suit.
Whoa.
They literally tracked over his motion frame
Wow.
by
Yeah.
frame. That
That
is
is-
insane.
That is an immense amount of work.
Yeah.
when and I'll give another example of this just because it came to my mind. You know, when someone says talk about like Marvel and they're like talk about Marvel special effects, a lot of people will say Iron Man's suit, and that's cool. I love that. But if someone was to ask me what's my favorite special effect, it would probably be Thanos, because they actually made this man feel real.
Yeah.
But he's a giant and he's purple.
Who plays him? Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think the best special effect was making Peter Dinklage 10 feet tall.
Oh yeah.
No, but no, for real. Yeah, the Thanos is incredible, especially comparing to like other
Wait.
blockbusters where.
We're in Marvel Universe right now. We're in the wrong universe.
Yeah, sorry.
I,
Anyway, black holes are good. But yeah, I thought the direction was stellar. Absolutely
Yeah.
stellar.
It was
was.
Interstellar.
And then we get to always the best part of these reviews is Murray Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
The music.
do you want me to play the track first, or do you want to talk about the music before I play the track?
I might just say, we'll listen to it and then
Just so we can refresh.
Yeah.
Okay, so the track we're going to be listening to is called The Impossible Planet, and it is, well, I mean, it's hard to say because there's so many, but it's probably one of my favourites, but then again, as is a lot of Murray Gold.
What instrument is that?
Sounds like a
But it sounds like it's.
sounds like a viola.
Chills.
I love the almost Celtic sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very like shell shock sound sounding song.
Remorseful, almost.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I kind of wish I paid more attention to the music during the episode.
I think one of the problems we're having at the moment is the way we've got it set up is we don't have the speakers properly.
Yeah.
With the old setup we had, the speakers were much more
Yeah.
engrossing with the music, and
But I did notice sometimes, like that song as well. I'm pretty sure that was what I was noticing when I was watching. It's just the swells, especially like it made the grandiose swells made the black hole seem much more significant.
it's very
stuff like that.
otherworldly, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
sort of sounds like a funeral.
But it's also ancient.
That's the thing, is it?
Yeah.
Like when the galaxy got consumed by the black hole, where the ancient civilization just died. I think that's the song that was playing, and it just sounded like, I pictured Viking funerals where the corpses being burnt on the river. That's kind of what the sort of emotion it evoked from me as it drifted off into the nothingness.
But I would also say, on top of, obviously you've got I think you said it, you think it might be a cello.
It's a viola, I think.
I think it's a
It's a
viola.
viola, yeah.
But on top of that, everything that's going on. So I think I mentioned in the Girl in the Fireplace review about how Murray Gold made this old sound futuristic, which was blending the two genres together that the writing did as well. With this song, I felt like it had that ancient Viking sound to it, but under that, it still has sci-fi in it as well.
Yeah. It's got that classic Curiosity sound, and yeah, it's got that's the thing. I think a lot of parallels with music between genres you can always, if something's big and in
Bombastic.
scale,
Bombastic.
yeah, and just grand, you're always gonna have the same sort of emotion from the music across all genres. So imagine a massive medieval battlefield with that kind of music playing. You'd still get the same emotion of you're looking at something that's bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about especially scores, is that you can apply it across so many different things.
Well, because for me, most of my genres that I listen to are musical theatre, classical, and opera.
Yeah.
Because I love narrative in
Yeah,
music, and the idea that you can take basically any genre and apply a specific idea or a theme to it. I don't mean a motif, I mean an actual an idea about a narrative in the subtext or whatever, and you could have that in a sort of a jazzy lounge room style, and then suddenly a big bombastic French horn war march sound.
That's what I love about especially classical and score, is that it's not traditional pop and structured music is meant to tell a worded story, or it's meant to have a start, finish, and end to itself. But more score and classical music is more orientated to evoking emotion. It's meant to create a feeling, and this feeling's meant to just be there, and it can dip and it can dive and it can morph.
Because part you think of the most iconic moments in cinema history and television for that matter, but specifically in cinema, usually what creates those moments being so iconic is the score behind it.
Yeah.
Captain Jack Sparrow's entrance in the first Pirates of the Caribbean, where you first get that dun 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 when he's in the ship, and then slowly it sinks down, and this music crescendos as he's holding on to the mast of the ship as it's sinking, and it lines up perfectly it was all his plan, and he walks off and the music just ends like that, and it perfectly cements this idea of who this character is and what his relationship is with the world, where he's he feels like he's untouchable, because even when he fucks up, the world just seems to go right around him.
But coming back around, I feel like that's how I felt with the music from this episode, is that it was there not to take over or to steal the show.
Enhance.
Exactly, it was enhancing what I was watching.
And I mentioned earlier in the review about the iconic moments from this episode for me. They are accompanied with this score.
Right.
For example, when Toby was standing outside the window, that score was playing. And overall for me, why I think I love this song so much is going on the whole transitionary narrative you're talking about. the very start of the song presents the otherworldly, terrifying black hole element with the ancient funeral sound, but eventually transitions into this beautiful, sweeping Murray Gold, like, and it sends shivers down my spine multiple times.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful track. Absolutely adore it. Murray Gold, the genius that has redeemed himself after the guitar track from Idiot Slayton.
Oh yeah.
We've been bashing on Idiot Slayton a lot this review, haven't we?
Oh, it deserves it. Piece of shit.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, anything else we want to say about the music before we move on to the trivia?
Nah, I think we covered it.
Yeah.
Sweet as. Okay, trivia time. Trivia.
I normally yell something.
Yeah, you
don't
say
I?
it. You say
Trivia!
it. There we go.
Oh my god, look at that.
Look at that. Wait.
Sorry for your ears.
The
Trivia,
Doctor
trivia.
states TARDISes are grown rather than built. That's a nice bit of lore.
Sorry, what?
The Doctor states that TARDISes are grown rather than built.
Oh, right.
So it's the
That's cool.
organism is actually growing,
Yep.
and the machine is built around it.
Yep.
Which is, I reckon, really cool. Bit of lore.
So it's kind of like a plant where it's sort of like a living thing.
Before the Ood, the production team had considered Slovene family being the servants on Sanctuary Base 6, but it was decided to use a new race when it emerged that the cast of repairing the Slovene costumes was just as much as if the crew created a new alien costume from scratch. Russell T Davies is also concerned that the Slovene would take over the plot. I think that's a good point, because I feel like the Slovene's tone as a character would completely feel out of place here.
Yeah.
Whilst I love the Slovene, I think it's more suited to, Aliens of London or Boomtown rather than the impossible planet. Like it's, and the fact that we got the Ood as a result is a win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They're like demonic butlers.
Yeah. And I also think it may have to do with the fact that people didn't like the Slovene, even though I did. A lot of people didn't like them, and I think the Davies may have been like, well, maybe we shouldn't have them again because people might not like
I
them.
remember not liking them that much.
You said you loved them.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, were they the shot collar ones?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They're the
no, I
ones
like
that
them.
zipped out of people.
I like them. Oh yeah, they were fucking creepy.
It was the Sidemen and the Gas Mask Children you weren't so fond of.
No, you love the Gas Mask Children. You just
Oh.
didn't like the episode itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's not you didn't like it, you just didn't love it.
Nah.
Which immediately makes you hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's the most
hate
unanimously praised story in the whole show.
Oh, it's just
Uh,
alright.
In Canada, this was a mid-season cliffhanger, and the rest of the season didn't air till 2007.
Fuck.
That fucking suck.
Wow, you gotta do them like that? That's horrible.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Sound effects matching the door opening and closing from Doom 1993 are occasionally used.
They were so like nostalgic sounding.
Yeah, and you
like,
weren't sure
the-
what.
the-
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially noticeable when Toby goes searching for the voices.
Yeah.
Man, wouldn't it be great if the Doctor got a BFG and just dun 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 dun
Just,
dun
like,
dun dun and started miming.
Jumping around, just fucking.
The simple name of the Ood was an intentional contrast to Russell T Davies' typical flair of Ostani's alien monikers. Because usually it's like Bloomfloth, Flash Slovene,
Yeah.
or
Rax Gorgathalapatoris.
yeah, whereas it's just Ood.
The Ood. There's an album by one of my favorite artists called The Ooze, and I just love it because like the Ood and the Ooze, and it's sort of like the album sort of feels the same way that the Ood look.
An Ood.
Very Ood.
The power of the gravity field, as calculated by the Doctor, says it would take 6 over 6 every 6 seconds. The number 666 is associated with Satan.
Yep.
Oh, cheeky.
I noticed that, but it was too early to give away what was going on,
That
so I
was
didn't.
That's cheeky.
It's a bit of hints. This is the first episode of the revived series to use a quarry as an alien planet.
Hey!
Quarries were frequently used in the original series. Russell Davies was not a fan of this production decision.
Well, too bad, Russell.
The thing is, like, if you got no money, a quarry's the only way you can really make an alien planet.
Yeah.
The planet was originally named Hell. That would have been a bit too on the nose, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit boring.
Yeah, I
What
think
do they call it instead? Like chromaton or something.
I can't remember.
Cromwell. Crommy.
Cromwell's one of our subscribers.
Oh, g'day, Cromwell.
The Ood was inspired by the Sensorites from classic story of the same name, but you could also say they are inspired by the Robots of Death. Kind of a combination of the two, really.
Like the sort of the narrative role of the Robots of Death.
I'm gonna go with my narrative. The flying spaghetti monster minions.
Yep,
There you
sure.
go.
Well, we
And
never,
the flying spaghetti monster comes out of the pit.
you never know. There's still another
Fuck, that's
episode
where the
to go.
Pastafarian Bible came from. It's written in that language.
Russell T Davies was inspired by the Prince of Darkness in conceiving a plot about explorers
Oh, I
becoming
love that film.
possessed by demonic forces, which he also wanted to serve as a challenge to the Doctor's own belief system. So, from what I understand of what I'm reading, is that Matt Jones did write it. However, it was a collaboration effort to come up with the idea. It's similar to Father's Day with Paul Cornell.
Where Russell probably pitched like.
I want a story with Rose and her dad, and Paul Cornell's like, well, I've got this idea about these flying creatures that eat time.
The rebuilds.
That looked like PlayStation 2 characters.
Yes, they were cool. But yeah, he wanted to serve as a challenge to the Doctor's own belief systems, which I really enjoy.
Yeah.
The only significant edit made in the post-production was a sequence in which the Doctor uses the drill head to detect the sound of a heartbeat emanating from beneath the planet's surface. The Sanctuary base was inspired by the Nostromo from Alien.
That makes sense.
The Doctor's line, "This will be the best Christmas Walford has ever had," is a reference to the long-running soap EastEnders, in which Christmas storylines are generally miserable, despite characters proclaiming above hope.
Happy Christmas, everyone.
That's such a British way to do a Christmas episode. Miserable.
Christmas sucks.
Yeah, but the Christmas Invasion is great.
Watch if you want a good Christmas special or something, watch the Always Sunny in Philadelphia Christmas
I have
special.
watched it.
It's
hilarious.
so good.
Listen to the chimes of midnight.
Oh yes.
It's another thing.
The couch scene,
Bob
man.
Shannon, who wrote Dalek, did a Christmas special for Big Finish Audios, and it's beautiful. And we've reviewed it on the channel, so go check that out. The voice of the Beast was provided by Gabriel Wolfe, who also played Sutekh the Destroyer in the Fourth Doctor serial Pyramids of Mars. One of the names that possessed Ood have for the Beast is Satan. The Fourth Doctor also stated that Sutekh is also known by many aliases, including the Typhonian Beast and Satan. So, there's rumours that, or not really rumours, but theories about there being a connection between Sutekh and the Beast. Gabriel Wolfe was cast only after the episode had been written and filmed. Originally, the producers sought out Billy Piper's husband, Chris Evans, not Captain America, but the fucking Top Gear one,
Oh yeah.
to voice the Beast, which would have been very odd.
Yeah.
But I think they got the right man.
Were there any other options to the list, or was it just him?
Just him.
Ah, man.
Billy was just like, "Oh, my husband could do it," and they're like, "Yeah, all right."
Go for
It's a
gold.
bit awkward because this was when they were like separated.
Maybe that's why she's like, he can play the fucking devil.
It's weird though, because from what I've heard, they're like best friends. It's very odd. It's very weird. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
This is the first episode of the revised series to not have any scenes take place on or within the orbit of Earth. Because obviously New Earth, they did go technically to another planet, but the very first scene was with Jackie and Mickey in the car park.
Yeah.
But yeah, we finally got alien terrain as you requested,
Yeet.
which comes at the cost of budget, but I think I'm glad that we finally got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was done well.
Parts of the yellow helmets worn by the Doctor and his team, the sides and the rear, not the front, looked very similar to the parts of the space helmets worn in the movie Alien.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not sure if they're firefighter helmets or not. We don't know. The viewership was 6.3 million, which
That's pretty good.
think. Hang on. I'm just going to check compared to Idiot's Lantern, because I know Idiot's Lantern had the same as Age of Steel, and Age of Steel was 3 million less than Rise of the Cybermen.
Math.
Let's see. Yeah, Idiot's Lantern was 6.7 and this was 6.3, so it's slightly down.
Down
Oh.
0.4. Wouldn't it be great if it was 6.66?
Everyone
million?
tuned out after
Yeah, it should have been
Idiot's Lantern.
6.6. That would be great.
Yeah.
Why do they put a shit episode before a good episode? I guess they gotta put it somewhere.
I'm gonna put it somewhere.
Well,
Yeah.
they could have just scrapped it and be like, well, we lost an episode.
Yeah, just have
Yeah.
12 episodes instead of 13. Okay, Jake. Give me your conclusion and rating out of 10 for The Impossible Planet.
Conclusion, I enjoyed it. Story is good, characters are good, design, costumes, the oud, beans and soy sauce, my favorite. Yeah, I think it was a very solidly directed and written and acted episode. Everything about it was very polished and clean, and in the Doctor Who style that I like. So I'm going to give it a good 9 out of 10.
Sweet as.
Yeah.
9 out of 10. On par with Aliens of London.
Yeah.
Adam.
Really, I'm dying. Sorry, excuse me. Really solid episode. Gripping from beginning to end. Well crafted characters. Very pacey. And the devil. So 8 out of 10.
I adore The Impossible Planet. It is one of my personal favourite episodes of Doctor Who. I love absolutely everything about it, from the direction to the acting to the creative ideas to the atmosphere to the music to how it relates to the characters to the tension. It sends shivers down my spine, and it is a immaculately flawless part 1, and I wouldn't be able to ask for better, which is why I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
Ooh. Perfect.
Yes. Very good. Very good. What was I going to say? There's something I was going to say after that. Oh, yes. Is it a relief to finally have a non-Earth story, Jake?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was getting pretty stale before. It wasn't getting, like...
Bad.
Yeah. It was just getting, like, this... I don't know. It just was... A lot of the things weren't gripping me that much. It was more just like, oh, we're in just a different time.
I would say in the case of something like Rise of the Cybermen, where it's a parallel universe, I do get an alien vibe from it, despite the fact that it's technically Earth.
Yeah.
And also Girl in the Fireplace, the fact that it is half alien and half historical, I love as well.
Yeah.
School Reunion, I can also forgive because it's more focused on the characters.
Yeah.
Sarah Jane specifically. But I do agree that it is about time for it.
Yeah.
About time to have a proper alien planet, not, New Earth, which was kind of just not really that alien. It was a little bit, but it was kind of just... But this is proper sci-fi.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it tickles my fancy.
Tickled me too.
Toby.
I can touch you.
What would you like to see in part 2?
Have you ever seen Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny?
Yes.
I've only seen Tribute. That's all I've seen.
Oh. You know the devil from that?
I think so, yeah.
I just find it funny if he just popped out.
Jack Black.
Dave Grohl plays it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just like,
Dave.
I am complete. Fuck. Yeah. Yes, you are fucked.
So you basically want to see Tenacious D. That's what you want to see. Would it be a 10 out of 10 if Jack Black was the devil or Dave Grohl?
I mean, I find it fucking hilarious. I don't know if it would suit.
More of the same? Is that what you're thinking? More of the same?
more of the same. And a good conclusion, because I feel like this, you're heading in a area where it's like you're opening a whole lot of boxes, and like how are you gonna tie this all together?
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's what it is. Well, we will see you all next time for The Satan Pit.
Oh.